when the Charlotte Hornets were granted the 4th pick in the 2025 draft lottery, it's definitely safe to say there was a sense of disappointment. Obviously, with that position, it means missing out on Flagg and a couple of more incredible talents. However, there was still plenty of optimism to go around as Kon Knueppel was drafted at number 4. A shooter that can help space the floor and give LaMelo, Miller, and Bridges more room to operate sounds like the perfect fit. Despite rough lottery luck at the beginning, this result can work well for Charlotte. Well, fast forward to now, and not only is Kon such an exquisite fit with Buzz City, but it looks like his potential may be at a higher level than we initially thought. Through almost a quarter of the season, Knueppel is averaging an astonishing 19.4 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, and 2.9 assists per game. What's even more impressive is that the rookie is doing this at a near 50-40-90 pace, as he's averaging 49% from the field, 43% from long distance, and 90% from the free throw line. I can't state just how incredible this is for a rookie, and keep in mind, he's doing this with constant changes in the lineup. The Hornets' 2 main stars in LaMelo and Brandon Miller have unsurprisingly missed significant periods of time, but their absences haven't really deterred Kon's performances. No matter who's in or out, Knueppel has shown he can get to his spots whenever he wants. A specific category I want to bring up to prove how elite Kon's shot making is true shooting percentage, which is a very popular advanced stat in the NBA community as it explains how well a player is shooting the ball. Kon Knueppel, as of this moment, has a true shooting percentage of 65.4%, which, if you rank that amongst rookies in the entire NBA, he's first place and by a wide margin. Again, to be that high in true shooting in your first year of NBA action is nuts, and even more impressive, he's doing all of this while averaging 33 minutes per game. An additional neat thing I've discovered is that if you rank that same true shooting amongst the whole Hornets squad, more specifically Hornets players who have played in 10 plus games, he's ranked 3rd, only behind Musa Diabate and Ryan Kalkbrenner. This is another terrific achievement, but when we consider the fact that the 2 leaders in this list are big men rolling to the rim, while Kon's usage rate is way higher, that just makes what Knueppel is doing even more impressive. But those are the numbers, some would say. What about the eye test, the visuals? Are these analytics just hyping this guy up? How is he achieving all of this on the court? Well, I would answer those questions by stating that it isn't fabricated hype. There are many reasons as to why Knueppel is this effective, his 3-point shooting being the biggest one. As mentioned earlier, Kon is hitting 43% of his 3-pointers, and he's achieving this while attempting 8.5 per game. What first stood out to me is the different types of shots he's putting up, as it will be quite impertinent to assume that all of them will be catch and shoot. He's managing to knock down sidestep 3s, ones coming off the screen, ones on the move, almost any forms of long-range bombs, you name it. And as you guys can see, none of these are easy looks. These attempts are about as quick, high pressure, and unbalanced as you can possibly imagine. And yet, when I look at the film, I never get that sense from Kon. Sure, a few defenders will give the Charlotte rookie a hard time, but for the most part, Knueppel's shooting stature remains unbothered and the trays are pure as a result. And that's the conclusion I came away with. His 3-point shooting motion is the main factor for all of this success. The form, his base, how he stays square when up in the air, like everything is down to a T. His shooting form especially, and to me, I'm in love with it. It's about as perfect as you can get. Now, to clarify, when it comes to what makes an elite shooting form in the NBA, it's quite subjective. Some will point out Klay Thompson's or Ray Allen's as the most successful, but then again, we have seen tons of players demonstrating that it doesn't matter what the form looks like, as long as the ball goes in, why change what's working? For me, I go with the former only because I believe it's the form that can help the most in situations where things get tricky for the shooter, and I believe we're seeing similar details in Knueppel's case. His elbow placement in particular, it's at that 90-degree angle, and very reminiscent of Klay Thompson's form, which funny enough, Kon had admitted that's one of the players he modeled his game after. In his interview with Taylor Rooks, Kon remarked on how pretty Klay's shot was, how his base remained the same, and even received a heartwarming message from the Splash Brother himself, where he was congratulating the rookie and telling him not to lose confidence. Judging by Knueppel's play, it's clear as day he's full to the brim with belief and ain't losing that confidence anytime soon. I also have to commend Coach Lee and his coaching staff for making sure to involve Kon in their game plan as much as possible. It's clear they see Kon as more than just a deadly standalone shooter, and you could see their efforts to draw up tons of actions to help benefit him. A lot of these actions tend to be ghost screens, and that's actually the majority of the Hornets' offense. They just make sure to spam this strategy as much as possible. It makes sense as many have depicted this strategy as one of the hardest to guard, so Charlotte makes sure everyone on the team sets these screens. This is where we see Knueppel's off-ball movement at play, since every shooter knows you have to be at least solid in that department to make any impact. Sure enough, Kon excels in this, and you can really see him slip out of these screens with ease. Because of his quick timing, defenders are mostly caught in a loop, thus having little time to contest his quick release. I do want to add though that not every play Kon Knueppel was involved in was a ghost screen. I've seen some moments where he came off of a flare screen or a down screen set by Kalkbrenner, but so far, Kon's compatibility with these ghost screens has been perfect and then some. But it's not just Kon causing havoc as the popper in these ghost screens, but also as the roller. That's right, Charlotte is implementing him as the roll man in some of these plays where the rookie is slipping towards the middle of the paint and being forced to create a positive outcome. Although definitely unorthodox, I can admit I am a fan of this new method, especially since this tests his awareness and decision making. And speaking of awareness and decision making, I'd say this is a nice segue to a very important piece in Kon's development, his ability to make decisions off the catch. In my opinion, this part of his game is a deciding factor for what's going to elevate his trajectory and career as a player even more. Because yes, Knueppel has already done tremendous work from the outside, but it's also no question that defenses will adjust, and they will make sure to take that strength away. Case in point, in their recent game against the Hawks, he was so efficient with his catch and shoot that I've seen Quinn Snyder assign Dyson Daniels onto him for a brief minute just to slow him down. That's one of the many counters opponents will come up with to render Kon useless, so him attacking that while also making sure he knows what he's doing when attacking is super crucial. Now initially this is deemed as a familiar issue that rookies have to overcome, a hurdle that will take a while to leap over. But from what I've seen this season, that worry cannot be less applicable to Kon Man, what he's been doing and how he's been working on his game once he beats guys off the dribble. It really is just confirming the argument that he ain't no ordinary rookie. Watching every Hornets game this season, you could see the improvement, as he's seen being a lot quicker and precise when committing on his drives. Early into the season, when he was coming off of screens and attempted dribble penetration, he would hold on to the ball longer than supposed to, and would often fall victim to reaches and traps by the defense. He had shown signs of being pressured easily, and lots of turnovers had occurred as a result. To clarify though, I never got the impression that he was trying to do too much, instead it was just more of not having enough awareness at that point. Plus, it wasn't like Knueppel was terrible with his decision making. There were flashes of solid plays. Anyone watching could see that he needed more experience, and it will only be a matter of time till we see much better adjustments. Sure enough, as more games have passed, Kon has delivered, even more than what I could have possibly thought. The main takeaway is his touch near the rim. So many of his makes I've been blown away by because the amount of difficulty they require is really high. And not only does he look more comfortable attacking the basket, he's converting those looks at an astonishing rate. According to Basketball Reference, Kon is nailing 26 of his 39 attempts near the rim, which translates to approximately 66% efficiency. He's also knocking down over 50% of shots that are 3 to 10 feet away from the basket, majority of which are mid-range jumpers. These aren't clean looks either, some of them were heavily contested. That's another factor that has popped up. Kon's timing when stopping and pulling up from mid-range has been a critical addition to his game, as it wasn't seen much in the beginning. This is all leading to the main conclusion I've gathered when comparing the differences of where he was at before to where he's at now. Kon is no longer overthinking it. He has garnered more determination when being chased off the perimeter, and I can barely sense any hesitancy with his drives nowadays. You can now see how deep his offensive skill set is when confronted by these scenarios, and it definitely benefits him a ton. As for the turnovers, it's not like they're completely gone, but they're appearing at a less frequent rate. And to really put things into perspective, we haven't even reached 20 games yet. The fact that through almost a quarter of the season, he's already displaying this wave of progression is very exciting. Plus, it gives off the sense that with more games under his belt, we'll see a slightly more polished version of what he's currently putting out. And that's why so many people, including myself, are so high on this guy. Because even though the current numbers aren't sustainable for the most part, just the immediate improvement in his mistakes and what types of shots he's successfully converting really does give off the sentiment that this will be a very special player in the future. I also like that recently we're seeing more of a ball handling responsibility with Knueppel as well, since it allows us to see more of what he's capable of. Letting him take that responsibility of being the main guy and calling the shots will undoubtedly expand his game. It was in full effect in their loss against the Hawks, and even if all of the attempts weren't perfect, like so much stuff we've seen from Knueppel, there's glimpses. It is very promising that it didn't take too long into the season to give the Rook a chance to produce his own self-creation. And forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but his potential with this is also very high. When Kon obtains the handoff, he's face to face with Jamal Shed, one of the most underrated defenders in the league. Kon backs up to give himself some room and then acts as if he's going right before quickly dribbling to his left and using his burst and frame to draw a foul. This was the most promising clip of Kon Knueppel's ball handling, cause to do this to Shed and in such quick fashion is not an easy task. I also wonder if Coach Lee can take advantage of Kon's shooting gravity in order to create more opportunities for others. Not saying Kon has a Stephen Curry-like presence, but we've seen in some ghost screens that he is threatening enough to attract defenders, which allows more lane penetration for the ball handlers. This is a simple possession, but one that really stands out. When he receives the pass from Sexton, he is a good distance away from the 3-point arc, yet Adebayo still respects him enough to jump on the pump fake. This opens up some space, and even though Bam recovers really well, Jaquez still provides support at the nail. So Kon eventually passes to the young bull, who has more than enough speed to blaze past Jaquez, and Kalkbrenner gets the nice dunk. Again, it's up to Coach Lee to have this come to fruition, but as of now, it's only a small hypothetical. Before we end this video, I do want to discuss briefly about Kon Knueppel's game that isn't his offense. Basically, how does he operate on defense and rebounding? And I seriously don't mean to keep repeating this, but he's again surpassing my expectations. What else is new? For defense, it actually isn't bad. I was expecting Kon to completely be a cone if I'm being honest, but instead, there were many moments where he was able to stay in front of his man. He's not a complete defender yet, he'll still allow some drives and lane penetration, but his positioning is solid, and with more training, I'm sure he can improve. The only major nitpick I have with his D is his screen navigation. He can still get pushed around by screeners and will be far behind when trailing his man, leaving Charlotte's big man in a tough spot. But again, defensively, he can hold his own and is definitely not a walking mismatch. His rebounding is another topic I've been quite pleased with. There are already a few instances where Kon Knueppel would leave a game with more than 5 rebounds, with his career high being in the double digits, at 12. How he's accomplishing this is by crashing the glass whenever a shot goes up, and I know that sounds simple, but you will be surprised by how many players don't do this. It's actually kind of a pet peeve of mine. When others prefer to run for a fast break opportunity, Kon always makes sure he's a good 5 feet away from the hoop, which raises the probability of nabbing the defensive board. And for offensive boards, Kon will make sure to have his presence felt on that end. I've seen the tape, he legit crashes hard, and that effort cannot go underappreciated. So overall, what Kon Knueppel is doing has been very special, and Charlotte definitely has no regrets of taking him. You can make the argument that he could potentially go higher in a redraft, as what he's providing out there ultimately leads to signs of a complete player in the making. So yeah, that concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching. But what about you guys? Do you feel like Kon can keep this up? Is he a future All-Star? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.